participation in railway operations. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu signs bill prohibiting open cattle grazing into law. People's Democratic Party (PDP) commands electronic registration of new members in Kwara State, pledges to prioritize youth engagement. Kwara Police Command arrests suspect for culpable homicide, trafficking in human parts. At foreign scene, Hotel Rwanda hero Paul Rusesa Bagina convicted on terror charges. And business news: after 28 years, new revenue sharing formula will be ready in December. In entertainment news, music legend Odo Julius to hold 78th year celebration. In sports news, Naomi Osaka slip out to top 5 in Women's Tennis Association rankings. You listen to Real FM 95.1. You can also listen to us by visiting the Real website www.realfm.net or just live on our social media pages. I am Timi Tokwe Uleye. For details of the stories after the break.
See, I don't do this hospital for more than 4 hours. If you see the crowd, we gather the way to see doctor. Now someone big oga just waka straight enter inside doctor office. Him no even send say other people don dey wait to see the same doctor.
With the footage dem dey even clear road for am. Hey, you're welcome, sir. The doctor will see you now. No sit down, look. No sit down, look.
No sit down look.
No sit down look o. We have come to the final question of today's edition of and Joy, a hairdresser, hot seat today. Now, Joy, you offer police bribe, him no take. If it happen, I think it no fit happen.
If it happen,
Is that your final answer?
that na my final answer.
Joy,
Sir,
you are correct. But Joy, why you say if it happen?
because with good laws, proper funding, training, and cooperation, if it happen,
Yes, so if it happen.
Welcome back once again to the news around the globe. Real FM 95.1 Ilori, and now the news in detail. The managing director of Nigerian Rail Corporation (NRC), engineer Fidat Ohiria, has hinted at the bundling of the corporation to enhance efficiency through private sector participation in railway operations. Ohiria, who spoke on the issue today, said the unbundling will pave the way for the decentralization of the operations of the railway, which will encourage other players to participate while the federal government provides the critical infrastructure for the smooth operations of the transportation mode. He said the presidential committee, headed by the Minister of State for Transportation, Senator Bibisola Saraki, has been constituted to facilitate the unbundling process. According to him, the committee's terms of reference include studying and making recommendations for the success of the exercise. He further explained the NRC, as presently constituted, will be unbundled into four major companies, which are operations, infrastructure management, regulation, and marketing. He said the number of companies expected to emerge from the unbundling will depend largely in the recommendations of the committee. Over 1.5 million candidates are sitting the 2021 West African Senior School Certificate examinations across the country. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Education, Sonny Echono, made this known today while monitoring the conduct of the WACE in Federal Government Girls College, Wari, and Government Girls Secondary School, Dutse, both in Abuja. According to him, the examination is held in 19,000 centers across the nation. H&O expressed satisfaction with the conduct of the examination. Aside from the disruptions witnessed in the Southeast, he judged the conduct of the 2021 WASI as peaceful and stress-free. Meanwhile, the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria (PSN) Oyo State Chapter has called for the inclusion of pharmacists as frontline healthcare providers in the fight against COVID-19 and other epidemics in Nigeria. The chairman of the association, Mr. Dibuiga Okotoye, made the call in Nevada today at a news conference to mark the 2021 Pharmacy Week. Okotoye expressed concern that even as volunteers, pharmacists were yet to be recognized in Nigeria as frontline healthcare providers, whereas they are the most accessible healthcare professionals closer to the people. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has signed the bill prohibiting open cattle grazing in the state into law. He signed the bill into law today. The governor's media aide and print media, Wale Adetumobi, made this known. It is recalled that the Lagos State House of Assembly on Thursday, 9th of September 2021, passed the bill titled A Bill for a Law to Prohibit Open Cattle Grazing in Lagos State, the Trespass of Cattle, Land, and for other connected purposes. Speaker Mudashiru Obasa subsequently directed the acting clerk of the House, Olalekan Onafeko, to transmit a clean copy to Governor Bajide Sanwo-Olu for assent. The bill was passed after unanimous votes by lawmakers at the sitting when the bill was read the third time. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Kwara State today commenced the electronic registration of the new members in the state in line with the directive of the national leadership of the party. Speaker newsman at the flag off of the re-registration exercise in Lorry, the state capital, Kwara State E-Registration Committee Chairman Honorable Sakan Batide said the exercise will enable the party update its membership status in Kwara, as well as draw a framework with the data acquired. While noting that the online registration is in line with COVID-19 guidelines, the former senior special assistant on youth empowerment at Kwara State added that the exercise will also engage the youths who are vast in information communication technology as they assist to register members in the 193 wards in the state.
Youths and we have men as adults, as party members. All this data will go a long way in identifying or distributing the political offices. I think with the the e-registration, the party is able to equally achieve that. And one very important thing I have equally not mentioned is the issue of youth in politics. We all know what ICT represents when you talk of Nigerian youths today. We have decided to create that platform as a party to ensure youth equally have a space in our party and ensure that space they are having is not just going to be a space, but a space that really represents their interest, which to us will take this nation forward.
The national member of the e-registration committee representing Kwara, Honorable Utumba Anu Iduwoye, said the engagement of youths to take a task was intentional because the party aims to build the party around youths. The state publicity secretary of the party, Tunde Asholu, emphasized that the online registration was compulsory for old and new members who intend to participate in the forthcoming local government and state congresses of the party. The party stakeholders called on leaders and well-informed members of the party to create awareness and help mobilize interested persons to take part in registration exercise. The Kwara State Commissioner for Education, Hajia Sadatu Modibo, charged principals in the state to be dedicated and be role models to their staff. Modibo Kawa disclosed this during the inspection monitoring a school resumption for the 2021-2022 academic session in Lorry today. In her words, punctuality and dedication to duty should be priority in order to live an example to staff and also students be nurtured for future leadership. Haja Modibo chided boarding schools that did not prepare breakfast for their students in time. She therefore encouraged them to stick with the time for breakfast as scheduled. The commissioner also implored parents and guardians to send their children back to school immediately as academic work had commenced today, and it would be proper for students to miss classes. According to her, the 2021-2022 academic session has commenced, but there is low turnout of students in the schools, especially boarding schools. She used the medium to implore parents and guardians to immediately send their boys to school as the school academic classes have commenced. The team visited over 90 schools from the 16 local government areas of the state today, the first day of resumption in the state. The Kwara State Police Command has arrested one Femi Adeniji of Omuyo area of Kwara State, who reportedly confessed to have been in possession of the head and hands of one deceased Rihanna Yusuf, who reportedly confessed to have killed. In a statement signed by the Police Relations Officer S.P. Ajayi Akasami and made available to Rural FM, informed that the killing was reported on the 14th of September when one Rihanna Yusuf of Amuyo area of Kwara State, who left her home on errand to buy kuli kuli, which was to be used to drink gari, known as cassava flour, was reportedly missing. The statement informed that the case of missing person was reported at OFA, Divisional Police Headquarters, by her father, one Yusuf Taufik of Amuyo area of OFA. Investigation, however, led to the discovery of a headless body of a young lady with her two hands missing at an uncompleted building at Amuyo area OFA, which was later identified by the father to be that of the missing girl. The suspect was said to have confessed further that he had sold one of the hands to his accomplice, who is presently at large for the sum of 20,000 naira. Another arrested suspect, Shitu Abdul Malik Wali of Imam Compound Ofa, also reportedly confessed to have used the second hand of the deceased for money-making soap. Investigation into the matter is now said to be ongoing as suspects to be charged to court after conclusion of investigation. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police, Kwara State Police Command, CP Tuesday Asayamo, advised youth to shun desire for quick and easy money as there is no alternative to hard work. The Kwara State Police Command, however, reiterated to fight any form or acts of criminality and lawlessness in the state. The command therefore advised criminal elements to vacate Kwara State or risk being arrested, prosecuted, and be permanently accommodated in correctional facilities. The command called the attention of parents and guardians to the rising incidents of ritual murders among the youth for money ritual purposes. And that is news and local scene. Up next is for news. Please stay tuned.
Stop it!
Why? It's just an online payment.
She dem never scam you before. And if you could no go arrive on call.
Doubting Thomas, calm down. Jumia is safe. Oh yeah, let's do pay on delivery then.
Buy and pay later by shopping conveniently with Pay on Delivery.
You only pay at the time of delivery. Pay with cash or with debit card via POS to the delivery agent and receive your order.
Just click on your preferred payment option and delivery right at your doorstep.
Note, some products, regions, or pickup stations may not be enabled for payment on delivery. Jumia, your everyday delivered.
Yay! My prepaid meat
meter has entered red. My money has finished though.
Babe, calm down now. Why are you switching off everything now?
With the rising cost of food and every other thing, it is only wise to manage my electricity consumption. And you know what freezers consume.
You better switch to the smart way with higher thermocool inverter freezers. The 50% electricity saver.
Really? 50%?
Yes, so 50%. So you don't have to switch off your appliances, especially your freezer.
Switch off from a life of stress. Switch to higher thermocool inverter freezer and enjoy 50% electricity saving. That means low electricity bills. Thermocool, always there for you.
Welcome back once again to the news around the globe. Royal FM 95.1 in Lorry. And now moving on to the international scene. President Joe Biden will ease foreign travel restrictions into the U.S. beginning in November, when his administration will require all foreign nationals flying into the country to be fully vaccinated. All foreign travelers flying to the U.S. will need to demonstrate proof of vaccination before boarding, as well as proof of a negative COVID-19 test taken within 3 days of flight, said White House COVID-19 coordinator Jeff Zients, who announced the new policy today. Biden will also tighten testing rules for unvaccinated American citizens who will need to be tested within a day before departure to the U.S., as well as on the return. Fully vaccinated passengers will not be required to quarantine. The new policy replaces a patchwork of travel restrictions first instituted by President Donald Trump last year and tightened by Biden last year that restricted travel by non-citizens to the United Kingdom, European Union, China, India, and other countries. Biden will also require airlines to collect contact information from international travelers to facilitate contact tracing. A man who was portrayed in a film as a life-saving hero during the Rwandan genocide has been sentenced to 25 years for terrorism by a court in Rwanda. 67-year-old Paul Rusesa Bagina was found guilty of backing a rebel group behind deadly attacks in 2018 and 2019. His family has called the trial a sham, saying he was taken to Rwanda from exile by force. Bagina's journey from celebrated figure to state enemy happened as his criticism of the government grew. Initially, he was hailed for his acts during the genocide 27 years ago. In the Oscar-nominated movie Hotel Rwanda, Mrs. Bagina, played by Don Cheadle, was shown as a hotel manager who managed to protect more than 1,000 people who had sought shelter. In a period of 100 days from April 1994, 800,000 people, mostly from the Tutsi ethnic group, were slaughtered by extremists from the Hutu community. That is the national news. Up next is business news. Please stay tuned.
This is Royal FM Business News.
In our business news today, the federal government says a new reviewed revenue sharing formula that would entrench equitable sharing process will be ready by December over 28 years after the formula was reviewed. The chairman of the Revitalization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, Engineer Elias Mbam, who said of this during a press briefing in Abuja the weekend, said the last general review was done in 1992. According to him, the review is focused on the vertical allocation or the revenue allocation formula for the federal, states, and local governments. Engineer Mbam said from 1992, the political structure changed with the creation of 6 more states in 1996, which brought the number of states to 36, and local government areas increased from 589 to 774 among other changes. The RMAFC boss further said the current sharing arrangement is that the federal government has 52.68% of the total revenue, states get 26.72%, and local government get 20.60%, which is said efforts were made in the past to review this, with the most recent attempt being in 2014. That is the business news for today. Up next is entertainment news.
This is Royal FM Entertainment News.
In our entertainment update today, music legend and one of the pioneers of Afro high life, calm Afrobeat music genre, Sir Orlando Julius Ekamade, is set to celebrate his 78th birthday on Wednesday, September 22nd. The musician, who has traversed different continents performing with his band and showcasing African culture, etched in music will be felicitating with friends and well-wishers in his country home at Elisha Emotion State as guest artists will perform on that day. His wife, Chicago-born singer Latoya Aduke, made this known to newsmen, adding that plans are on to further celebrate his 60 years on stage in November. Just like old wine tastes better and finer, the saxophonist and Belumi of Ijeshaland possess a retinue of African music and has helped support several musicians to become successful artists. He is famous for many songs, including Olulufe.
You are my lover, please stay with me forever. You're the only one I love in this whole world. Baby.
Orlando Julius continues to inspire men at home and abroad as he enjoys life and the company of Latoya and family members. That is entertainment news for today. Up next is sports news. And in sports news, Naomi Osaka slipped out of the top five of the women's station rankings today, while Simona Halep, another former world number one, continued to slide by also dropping three places. Four-time Grand Slam champion Osaka fell from fifth to eighth as Halep, who married boyfriend Tony Loroque last week in a civil ceremony in the hometown of Constanta, tumbled down to 14th. Ashley Board remains top, and French Open winner Bora Krejcikova climbed to a career high of fifth. Danish teenager Clara Tauson rose 18 places to 52nd after capturing her second title of the year in Luxembourg. Italy's Jasmine Paolini jumped from 87th to 64th, following her first WTA title at Portoros, Slovenia. And still in sports news, Raymond Niger forward Paul Onuachu has signed a one-year contract extension with Belgian Pro League club KRC Genk. The 27-year-old linked up with Genk from Danish club FC Midtjylland in 2019. And that ends the sports update in a soundbite this evening. It features reactions as former President Olusegun Obasanjo speaks on government's plan to source fresh loans. Please do stay tuned.
A commercial house and you go and borrow money and you have 50% of your own money and you borrow 50%, and in 5 years you will pay the 50% that you borrow. That is the right thing to do. But if you have to go and borrow money for you to be able to feed you and your family, that's a stupid thing to do. So if we are borrowing for recurrent expenditure, it is height of folly. If we are borrowing for development that can pay itself, of course, that is understandable. Then the paying itself, how long will it take to pay itself? But if you are borrowing and you are accumulating debt, for the next generation, and the next generation after them, it is criminal. It is mad to do. So what are we borrowing for? When I came into government as elected president, we were spending $3.5 billion to service debt. To service debt. And even with that, our quantum of debt was not going down.
And that is the soundbite for today. Before we end today's news around the globe, breaking down highlights of the news as brought to you. Nigerian Railway Corporation NRC to unbundle for private sector participation in railway operations. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu signs bill prohibiting open cattle grazing into law. People's Democratic Party (PDP) commences electronic registration of new members in Kwara State, pledges to prioritize youth engagement. Kwara Police Command arrests suspect for culpable homicide, trafficking in human parts. At a foreign scene, Hotel Rwanda hero Paul Rusesabagina convicted of terror charges. In business news, after 20 years, new revenue sharing formula to be ready in December. In entertainment news, music legend Orlando Julius to hold 78th year celebration. And sports news, Naomi Osaka slipped out to top 5 in women's tennis station rankings. With that comes to the end of today's news around the globe. It was compiled and edited by Dada Umabamishi. The comments, observations, and information regarding unfolding events around you kindly call to the newsroom on 85 0999 968. I am Timi Tokwe Urule. Good evening and thank you for listening.
Royal FM 95.